Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Greg.
Yo.
Hello.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, Echo. Hey, Mandy.
Hi.
So we have a new album out. It's called Emphatically No. And we wanted to do like a little commentary to just talk about the songs. So we're just going to play back the album and then tell you what we remember or think of it or whatever. And hopefully it sheds some light on your experience of listening to this thing. You guys ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Here we go. Okay, track 1. Listen to Your Heart Now. Mandy, I think this was like the last song we wrote before we started recording stuff for the second album.
Yeah.
This one, like most of the record, was done at New Monkey Studio in Van Nuys, which is in the valley here, and it was Elliott Smith's old personal studio. Greg Cortez engineered and mixed. He did most of the album. So yeah, there's that.
I remember when we were writing it, I was really into setting boundaries. Learning healthy boundaries. And I was just like learning to say no. And then just kind of like writing a song around just saying no.
Yeah, I remember. I think this was like "Listen to Your Heart No" is like a lingering line in my notes, and you were like, "Let's run with the no thing."
Yeah.
And I remember it ended after the second chorus when we had originally written it, and I think that was like maybe like till the day before we recorded it. That was like the way it was ending. And then like we added the like whatever like cut and paste dog barking and the like little end tag thing.
Yeah.
That was like, but that was like a like, oh, you know what'd be cool? Like right before going into the studio. And with like most of these songs, I don't think we'd played any of them live before we recorded them.
Yeah. Well, I remember the barking, we asked for people to send us their dogs barking.
Oh yeah. Well, that didn't work out.
Didn't work. Yeah, we ended up just using our barking, right?
Yeah, it's all us, right?
It's like a lot of echo, actually.
Yeah.
My greatest contribution to the band thus far.
You're a good barker, Echo.
All right.
Put that on my resume.
Yeah. Okay, now we're into Best Life. And this 3 of the songs on the album we recorded in Brooklyn in February of 2020 with Jeff Berner at Studio G in Greenpoint. And this is one of those 3 songs. We thought the album was done, but we had written these songs later, and then we were like, okay, those songs should go on the album, possibly. And so yeah, that was the way this was recorded.
Yeah. And was this the first of those 3 that we wrote?
I think so. I think it was the one we were sitting on the longest.
Yeah.
So it must have been it's definitely written in 2019. And I remember thinking like, it's pretty cool, but maybe like not like the song. And then Mandy, you were like, that's the song, you idiot.
This chorus. Come on, catchy as hell.
Definitely, we got a little Oingo Boingo reference in there too. On the outside looking in, like inside looking out. There's like, there's a great Oingo Boingo song called "On the Outside" from their first album. And then I think with that guitar, that like slippery guitar lick that like goes through the choruses, I think I was thinking of like "Satan Is My Motor" by Cake. It's like first song on like their third album, where it's like this kind of slippery sort of country guitar line.
Yeah, it started with your guitar line. I remember that. Like that guitar line. Yeah. And I was like, what bass should go under that guitar line?
Yeah. There's you put that like C natural in there, which is like not like in the key, which like just like pulls so hard. Like you don't hear it during the verse where there's no guitar, but then like when in the chorus when like they're in together, like they just like pull on each other so hard for just like a short amount of time, and then they resolve. Yeah.
I love that stuff. Like, I love doing that kind of thing. So, yeah. But yeah, the drums make the head bounce.
Nah, you get all the credit for that. I just play along with you.
Oh no. Oh.
Don't give Echo any credit he doesn't ask for.
Yeah, only barking.
And this everything is normal thing, I went back, I listened to another old demo that I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, I started this idea with just another friend just for fun, and I was like, what was that song again? And it was another song that said everything is normal in it. So that was like something where I was like, okay, we're gonna use that for something.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're into Call Your Mom. This is the first punk scorcher on the album. And there's some guitar on this from Devin McKnight, who has a great band called Monica and was a longtime guitar player in Speedy Ortiz. So that first like laser beam effect is like his guitar, and then there's this ripping guitar solo in the middle. That's the Monica album.
It's right here.
Yeah. And that like rhythm and the like right there is like, it's in a Metallica song. I was like, where? That's like such a distinct rhythm. How did that like seep into my head? And that was like, I think it's in like, I don't know what song it's in.
Yeah, it sounds like a Metallica drum here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like maybe like For Whom the Bell Tolls or something on Ride the Lightning. I don't know. Earlier Metallica, I think.
The drums go hard on this one. It's like, yes.
There are a couple on this record that were like, if we didn't get them in the first 3 takes, I was not going to be able to play it any more times.
So here's Devin's guitar solo, and I had done a guitar solo on this originally, but it was just like atonally just going like, and like just like for this whole like whatever 8-bar 16-bar break we got here, and Devin came up with this just like incredibly majestic thing, but it's like sprinkled with these laser beam effects. It was so great.
Also, I really love They Hold Hands as She Reaches for the Pasta. That's one of my favorite lyrics on the record.
Yeah.
That based on a true story, Doc. Okay, so this is called Crying Back. Another album cut. And this is one, I think we recorded a few songs that didn't make the album, and this one was like kind of teetering on the edge, and like Mandy, you were really pushing for it, and I was kind of like, I like it, but I don't know that much. But then when we listened to the album like in a sequence, there were like a lot of places where this song was gonna fit, where it like did like one of those album-y things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just really like the space on it, and like it's just a little bit airier, and it like fits nicely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love a lot of the lyrics on it.
Yeah, the line about the surgical gown, that was like written on my phone while I was in the emergency room after a car accident. And I was just like, and you know, it was really like, I wasn't badly injured, but like, I was like, I gotta make sure I don't have a concussion, etc. So they're like, you know, they put me in the gown and they're like scanning my brain, and they're like, here, leave all your stuff out here. And I was like, okay, like I'll leave all my stuff, but I gotta take my phone, because like, you know, what am I gonna do while I'm in the hospital in the ER? And and then I'm just like, where can I put this thing?
Yeah.
Like, because there's no pockets. Anyway.
Yeah. And the whole like, just, I'm sure it's nothing, it's probably fine. It's just like on repeat in my head in general. So
Yeah.
it's like.
That's one of those things my therapist was like, stop acting like you're pretending everything's fine. It's okay to accept that you just feel like everything is bad and just act like everything is bad or do whatever you gotta do to like accept that. Anyways, got the little synth solo in there. Shouts out the Korg mini log for that one.
Also, just as like a general note, there's a lot of songs on this album that I've always loved, but have like just become more meaningful and feel more relevant, given everything that's gone down in 2020.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've had a few people like DM and be like, wow, how does all your stuff predict the future? And I'm just like, man, if you just look around at how fucked up the world is, like, you don't have to predict anything. It's all right there.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been feeling this feeling for years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wedding Guests, pre-album single. We wrote this one with Brijesh Pandya, a phenomenal drummer and songwriter based here in LA. Brijesh had this riff, like this like monster, like Sum 41 Fat Lip riff. He was just like, yeah, I've just had this riff for like years in my voice memos. And so yeah, so that's the kind of that riff that goes under the whole song. That's all Brijesh. Yeah. So shouts out Brijesh for the big riff.
Yeah. And I love the like the bass line that goes under this riff is like so much fun to play. It's like I get to, do a little funk.
Yeah. And then what else is in here? There's the, let's see. I'm just listening. Oh yeah, so we get to the chorus and then all this stuff comes in, and there's that ride bell loop that's like bing 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 bing, which like I think we listened in the studio to like Crazy in Love, and we were like, or like 99 Problems, or like one of those like it's like massive hip hop records of the aughts. And we were just like, we gotta like get that sound of like the bells going crazy, because that sounds so hype. So that's in there, and then there's like a little toy Casio keyboard that's like the plunk, 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 plunk. And then the Hammond organ, that's a Mellotron Hammond organ in there that comes in here, where I'm just like, it sounds like the sun is like shining down onto the song, which is really funny.
Yeah, I'm a huge organ fan. Organ can like make something land.
All right, so now we're into I Don't Want to Go to Calabasas. So we're into another album cut here. And definitely when Mandy and I were writing like most of these songs, we were pulling some ideas from like a lot of Minutemen records, and I feel like this one is like the most openly just like thank you the Minutemen, like because that opening riff sounds like Corona, and then there's that line about like what makes a man want to be a referee, which obviously is like a reference to the Minutemen album title, What Makes a Man Start Starting Fires, or whatever that one is.
Yeah. I feel like when we'd come into the room to write, it'd be like, well, what have you been listening to this week?
I'm like the Minutemen again. So shouts out Mike Y.
Yeah, and the last album there was a lot of wire involved, and you know, gotta start somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
Yeah, and then also we made a whole other version of this that's a mariachi version with like wailing vibrato trumpets, playing the hook and all that, like playing the guitar hook. But then cooler heads prevailed, and the mariachi version was was spiked, and Greg Cortez, who recorded this and most of the rest of the album, was gutted that we were not going to use the mariachi version, because he even played like played like the nylon
flamenco
guitar on it.
Yeah. Sorry, Greg.
Maybe we'll have to release it someday.
Yeah. So you get the little mariachi laughter in there, which is the last vestige of the mariachi version of the song. Anyway, think Starburst, the best Starbursts.
By the way, I don't think I've ever been to Calabasas, so it's
it's just a metaphor.
Yeah.
All right. So this one's original composition, which was a B-side from one of the singles that we put out before the album. And this one is definitely like another Minutemen pastiche of like History Lesson Part 1, where it's just like a poem, and just like a repeating bass line.
Yeah. To me, it's like another marching theme, similar to Jai. Like the way I look at it, bass line wise, it's like a walker,
Yeah.
To me, it has to do with like marching, protesting,
So this was gonna be a one-note guitar solo. I was like, okay, one-note guitar solo, and then Mandy was like, no, it's gotta be 2 notes, and change right there.
Standing on an X.
It was perfect.
The X where you'll watch the sunset on mankind.
This little bit of lyrics was like sort of inspired by the Dismemberment Plan song 8.5 Minutes, where he says the sky is like a dome of black metal flakes, and stars bleed together in phosphorescent lakes, and dead black discs slide silently overhead. It's fucking beautiful is what it is. So there you go. But we went with the SpaghettiOs instead.
The climate changed and I left it on red. The bees died off and I left it on red. They don't recycle your Sprite bottles anymore. Don't need a weatherman to know.
I can't stand when emails are unread in my mailbox. They have to all be read.
Yeah, there has been some controversy on Cheek Freak Twitter about whether the lyric is on read or unread, and it is on read.
On read, yeah.
For those who were wondering. And also, I hate songs with whistling hooks, but like when I was just waiting to record the demo, I just like started whistling randomly, and then it ended up being that. Like just waiting for the playback point to get to where the like vocal comes in. I just like randomly started whistling, and we were like, oh, that sounds pretty good actually. And
I love songs with whistling.
Others have told me the same. All right, now to No Connection, another one of the pre-album records. I think this was written around like Christmas of 2018. This one kicked around for a minute. I think it predated the Therapy album. And it has that thing at the beginning. So it had like, Echo, you played like the glockenspiel on that or something?
Like toy piano.
Toy piano.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, so the opening is like, it's the toy piano and guitar, and then it's like Mellotron plucked strings, and then it's like Mellotron harp run. So shouts out Mellotron.
Yeah.
Got some Mellotron on the sound.
Yeah, shouts out my years of piano lessons, allowing me to play a single arpeggiated chord.
Hey, that's a 9 chord, dog. Don't sell yourself short.
It's technically a rhythm instrument.
Yeah, percussion only over here.
And I remember when we were like trying to work this one out for recording, we tried to take out some of these like repeating instrumental sections and like try and cut it leaner, and it was, for whatever reason, it felt like it needed those little like turnarounds and stuff. Okay, so the farmers market shaman. So many people who live in LA have mentioned that line to me. The farmers market shaman with a petition for you to sign, because anyone who's ever been to the Silver Lake Farmers Market, just like the iconic East Side LA Farmers Market, there is like always this guy there. It's kind of a conflation of two guys, because there's always like this guy who's like not wearing a shirt but wearing overalls, and he's always got petitions. And then there's always this like shaman guy selling like incense, and they're like always there at the farmers market. And yeah, so but a lot of people are like, oh my god, the farmers market guy with the petitions and the shaman with the incense. Anyways, here's the guitar solo I was like highly self-conscious about, because it is so long. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. This one was also, I think we had, I don't know. Oh, we had done this cover of Bad Liar by Selena Gomez, which has a sample of Psycho Killer by Talking Heads in it. And it really called like our attention to like these really simple drum beats that are just like kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 on 4, and there's like no accents or syncopation. And there's like I don't know if there's like a few songs on the album I feel like where like that like just incredibly simple like drum grid is like on there. Here's another one. So this one we wrote like, this is like late 2019, Emotional Run Control. It was like after Rick Ocasek from the Cars had died, and we were like, let's like do Cars vibe for something.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like, the Cars guitar part is like not the most ear-catching part of the instrumental. It's definitely this freaking bass line.
Thanks. It's so simple.
It is not simple. It's outrageous. How can you say it's simple? And shouts out the kid who like posted a YouTube of like a full bass cover of this song, because that bass line's really nasty.
Yes, I love all the bass covers. They're great.
One thing that like we come back to in a lot of the songs is like chords like never changing. And like I think like one thing, like we do it in like our fast songs as well as our slow songs, and it's just like a sound that always sounds good no matter what room you're playing in. Like it works in like a big room because there's like a lot of bounce back, and like so if you have a lot of chords in a big room it sounds mushy, but of course it sounds good in a small room too because it sounds together. I don't know, like one of the things when we first started writing songs together, I was like picturing the rooms we were gonna play in and thinking like, well, what's gonna sound good when we play at the Echo, which we still haven't played at, but there's definitely like a lot of songs where I was like, this will work at the Echo,
right? Yes.
And then like the Emotional Run Control chorus, that's like, I know how good that would sound at the Echo because like I've seen so many shows at the Echo, and that kind of thing like works.
Yeah. I definitely like enjoyed the fact that we write as far as like with little chord changes, because like they're there for a reason. We're not just like throwing chord changes in to like because we can. It's like, yeah.
And this is another one we recorded in Brooklyn with Jeff Berner. He did not believe us when he was like, oh, come in for one day and cut some stuff at our studio. And we were like, okay, let's do 3 songs. And he was like, no. Like, you guys are never going to be able to do 3 songs in one day. And like, we did this one and Best Life and Big Big Friend in like what, like 5 hours?
Yeah, like at most 7 hours. We were
Yeah.
like out of there in 7 hours. Yeah.
So yeah, this one also in that little session in Brooklyn.
Dude, nobody hassle me. Majored in college, I earned a
Yeah.
degree.
Miss New York.
Yeah, yeah. Back to New York sometime.
I come from a long line
Ugh.
of people, a long line of people who procreate.
So this song, like the jumping off point for the lyrics, was like somebody I was following on Twitter, or maybe not even following, was complaining about how difficult it was to get a refund for a class they had taken at college, and or like that they were like dropping or whatever. And then I was also thinking about like college and how it like rewards people who are able to like be in the bureaucracy and not like, you know, and then if you're just like, no, I just want a refund, it's like impossible. That like keyboard smash there, that's a Wurlitzer MLM keyboard through like some pedals that we did at the studio. And that's one of those things where, I don't know, sometimes you're writing a song and you're like, God, I'm gonna repeat the same freaking lyric again. Like, songs are so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm repeating the same thing again. Who even wants to hear this again? So it's like, you know, like I try not to be self-deprecating outside of the songs, but sometimes if I could be musically self-deprecating, I feel like it's forgivable. So I was like, that's just like the audible way of saying like, no one wants to hear this. No, stop. Somebody on the internet called it a jump scare, which I thought was a really funny way to describe it.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a couple of those.
Yeah.
They still surprise me. I'll like be listening to the song and be like, wait, oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so there's track 10, and now on to track 11. So this is like probably the oldest song on the record in terms of when it was written. Loyal, this one we started playing like pretty much when we started playing shows.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it didn't make it onto the Therapy album, even though it's like a song we played live a lot. I think like the lyrics for this one stemmed from like feeling someone has stiffed me who'd like I'd done a favor for, and then I was like, I do that to people all the time, and so kind of I was like, man, I can't be mad at somebody else for doing the same shit that I do that everybody does. Drumming on this part is freaking sick.
The closest I'll ever get to a drum solo.
You get a lot of drum solos in the songs. They're just usually like 1 or 2 beats long.
Yeah, it's a fill, not a solo.
This is another. Oh, go ahead, Mandy.
I was just gonna say, this one's a fun one to play live.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can get some chanting involved.
This is another one where I think we were like vibing on the Clean or something like that. Doesn't sound like the Clean, but neither do any of the other songs where I was like, let's write something like the Clean.
Yeah, I remember you playing me the Clean in the room, because I was like, I don't know. Like, yeah.
Also, that cowbell under the guitar solo I played as a joke. The like Afro Latin, like dink, and
I
then
didn't remember it even being recorded.
it was like after we'd finished all the percussion, I was like, let me just do this, and I thought it would get a laugh, and I still can't believe it made the record.
Wow. Shouts out Greg Cortez.
Yeah. And I love the end here, all the buzz guitar.
Yeah. There are several other songs that had that like sound on it of just like scraping all the strings with like them all muted.
Yes.
But this is the only song that it made it into the actual record. All right, we're into the very end of this.
Already?
So this one is "Do You Work Here?" I'm really fond of this song, actually. In an alternate universe, we're just a band that sounds like this instead. Isn't it funny how like there's like an alternate universe version of every band in the second to last song on the album?
Well, I've always wanted to be in a drone band, and I'm like, maybe this is the closest. Like,
yeah.
It's just, yeah.
And I don't think this is like where we started writing this song, but we, as we were recording it, we were like really vibing on the Future Perfect album by Autolux. And so there's a lot of like, I mean, this drum groove especially, that's like really like all over that Autolux album.
Yeah. It's true. When I moved to LA, I was like, is there any way I can join Autolux?
I feel like maybe we were like going for like a Sonic Youth thing, which you can like hear in the back of vocals.
Yeah.
But it ended up being more like an Autolux thing.
Yeah.
I look forward to the day I will attempt to play this incredibly syncopated guitar line while also attempting to sing this song. And also all the delay throws and reverb
effects.
gates and stuff, like that's all great Cortez right there.
Yeah. It's also like channeling Black Rebel Motorcycle Club a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like the same time period, like Autolux and Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. That pre-chorus with all that density and then like blowing it out to this like super airy chorus is really cool. The pre has like a big muff guitar, and then it also has like the mini log with some really dense analog synth sound that's like a low octave, and then there's also like some like feedback guitar in there to like mash it all together. I guess you hear it all exposed right here. All right, into the end. Last song. So Don't Get Hit by a Car. This one, I think we were definitely like vibing on like Loaded era Velvet Underground when we were like starting this.
I was listening to like De La Soul, like 90s, 90s hip hop.
I remember that.
And this is where I was like, I want to do, this. It started with the drum beat. I was like, I want this drum beat. And
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the like kind of New Jack shuffle.
Yeah.
And then there's like the little Dr. Dre reference in there. Shouts out Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a song I was like super self-conscious about. Like everyone I played it for like thinks it's cool, so I've dropped my self-consciousness about it. But I don't know. Like lyrically, it is like it's just a lot. There's a lot of words.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of pointing in all directions, and I was like, is this good or is this just a lot of words? But people really like it, so
I love it.
the last two songs on this record are favorites for me, for sure. Also, yeah, I remember, I think you said something, Greg, like, that, like, you didn't want the song to be on the record, but because Mandy and I made it feel so good, you're like, well, we have to now.
Yeah.
It was, like, reluctant. Like,
yeah, I mean that like energy of the bass and drums groove is like really cool, and it has like this just like, I don't know, whatever, like Bryan Adams or Tom Petty or like whatever, like late classic rock kind of feeling to it that just like feels really familiar and worn in. And honestly, like, I hate writing shuffles because I feel like they don't always come across. But, you know, Echo's from Texas, so Echo's got this freaking Texas shuffle.
Got that shuffle down. Yeah. Yes, and I love the chorus with the vocals and sing along.
All right. Well, there's Cheekface album 2 for you. Emphatically No.
Wow, a train whistle.
Any parting thoughts?
hope we get to play it live soon.
Yeah.
Or someday.
We will.
One day.
Possibly.
We get to actually learn how to play it live.
I know so many of those songs we like, you know, like we played them up to the recording date and then we never touched them again until whenever. So gotta practice. All right, you guys. Well, I'm glad we did this.
Yeah. It's good to see everybody.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in, Cheek Freaks.
Yeah. Later.
Bye.
Bye.